empty. And Carlsbad does a really, really great job of keeping land that doesn't have houses on it, and like woodsy areas, and preserving them so that houses can never be built on them, which is really, really good for Carlsbad. They don't want to, although it feels like there's been a lot more houses put in lately, they do try to keep it pretty small. So this is one of those areas that had kind of been there's a little bit of a backstory, but I'm not going to go into it. But this is one of these areas that had been designated as just, you can't build on it. So it's this great, like, gigantic field, and it's completely fenced in, and it's about a quarter-acre loop. And my kids call it the spooky forest. There's no like official name for this thing because it's not really a park, but a lot of people use it, and it's like the off-leash dog trail basically, and it's all of these things all these check marks that's great for an off-leash dog park. And so really because it's not city funded dog park. We have city funded dog parks with the bags and all that stuff, trash cans, but this isn't city funded. This is just preserved land. We have to bring our own dog bags, our own. There's no like drinking fountains for the dogs or anything like that. We have to bring, just everything that we have to take our poop with us when we leave. Like, we have to put it in the car and drive home with a bag of poop. It's kind of, but it's worth it because it's a cool, it's a really cool place for the dogs to be able to get a lot of energy out, right? And there's really a lot of cool people that go to this place. So I started going there, and there was like probably about the first 3 times I forgot a bag because I was used to going to a park with a bag. And so, like, the first 3 times I either had to bum a bag from a neighbor or run to my car and see what I could find.
You put it in your pocket.
Yeah, well, no, I didn't actually. One time I left it and I picked up 2 piles the next time. But, yeah, so.
I felt bad.
Yeah, I felt, but I actually did. But then that time I also brought a whole roll of dog bags, and it's a chain link fence. And I broke off, like, probably about half the roll, and I tied them to the chain link fence. And that way, I knew that I would always have a bag, and I would be a responsible neighbor, and if anybody else ever forgot a bag, they wouldn't have to be in the situation that I was in, right? It was just, basically because I'm forgetful. But
it's kind of pay it forward at this point.
Exactly. So, but then the next time I went, I noticed that there were different colored dog bags on there. So, meaning somebody else had put their, oh, that's a good idea. I'm going to add to this system too, right? And then I went away for a little bit. We didn't go to this park. It's like winter time. We didn't go, and other people did. But then I came back months later, and there was all kinds of dog bags still there. And there was an egg crate where people started throwing their poop bags in there. And because I remember before, people were complaining that they would have to go around the trail and go pick up. People would leave their dog bags or not clean out, or actually just leave the poop or whatever. And trying to be responsible neighbors, like, people would go volunteer and go pick up the poop just out in the field. But now this way, it's like encouraging people that even if you don't want to take it in, and put it in your car, at least this way these volunteers don't have to go all the way around this loop to go pick up dog poop, and it's all in one designated place, and somebody can take it once a week, I'm sure they do, and throws it away on trash day. And this is a really simple as I wasn't even trying to do this. This was just I forgot dog bags, right? And this is an example of cooperation working in our neighborhoods. And I just thought that just think about whatever little seeds you can think of. Like if you've got I was thinking, there's these little book carts, right? Or these like on the street in Carlsbad even. I've seen them other places, but they're little stands where you can borrow books and put a little lending library. And I was thinking, well, if we could get refrigeration to that, people who have leftovers and don't really want to take them home can put them in there, and homeless people can eat, or somebody who's just even, starving and forgot, was too busy to eat lunch. Maybe they can just have a nice sandwich or something like that.
And the thing that I liked about this whole story was not just so much the little incremental changes, which are marginal, but the whole fact that since a community then feels ownership of this park, and if they don't want to walk around with dog poop everywhere, that they need to pick it up. And all of a sudden, instead of the government, well, they're not emptying the trash or they're not providing enough bags, who do I complain to? It becomes, well, I'm going to step it up and I'm going to make it happen. And when we all talk about it, and we all, I mean, this one's not actually, there's not a whole lot of intellectual property to share in terms of a cooperative economy on this one, but it's still the same concept where your community is taking care of your park, and you get to know your community as you start to take care of the park, as you start taking care of your neighborhood. And that's why I really like this story, because it's that people want to cooperate and they would like to make their lives better. And this cooperative economy thing that we're pushing is definitely one step that can help.
Mm-hmm. Another example, recently we got hatching chickens, and it was a lot of fun for me because it was the first time. I did some Facebook Lives on it, and they're still really young. But the most surprising thing for me is how much the kids got into it. And so my kids got into it, the neighbors got into it, and it got me thinking about how cool it would be, to do this, kind of like as a community project with the kids in the community.
Absolutely. Learn how to take care of animals and raise your own food and build a community at the same time, and it's cheap.
Yeah, and I mean, and we have such great resources in our communities, and these are just ideas that we're coming up with that you can start to implement now. We don't need our government to solve every problem. We can figure out that these are just very simple ways that we can learn to cooperate together and kind of break our dependency on a national government. I think we rely too much on the bigger government and for things that we can do ourselves.
And for me, there's a bit of, I call it a mental prison, because especially as progressives, we're always taught when there's a wrong, you have to turn to the government. And that kind of makes sense, because if you're fighting capitalism, what are you going to do? Take them to court? Well, no, they could drag you into court for 40 years. So it's like that's playing their game. But what progressives are saying is that capitalism isn't working. And I think it's unhealthy for us to continue to turn to the government or continue to turn to the Democratic Party or any party or anything when we should really be turning to our communities. And hopefully we can have the parties and the government be on board with helping us. Because otherwise, really, what's the point of all of us being here if we're just serving something else or someone else's profits? Like I feel like we can do better, and we kind of deserve it. It's like we've kind of been, it's like we've had, certainly not my life, but it's like you look around and everyone has to fight for everything.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't have to be this hard, especially with the technology that we have. I mean, I get it, back in the day when it took a week to send a letter across the country, things were harder, and you pretty much always had to pull yourself up by your bootstraps everywhere. And it's kind of like that one Wild West movie where, I forgot, Seth MacFarlane says, "Oh my God, everything out here kills you." And I think that's probably likely back then, but it doesn't have to be like that anymore, especially with automation and AI and the energy that we have available. So I like this cooperative story where people look and they build their own community. If they can do that same project on a larger scale with maybe providing energy to their neighborhood, not today, that's not something that's going to do, but everyone just has to get into the mindset of cooperation. And then it can become like a family weekend thing where, hey, what cooperative project are we going to do with our community this weekend? And it's just having that mindset switched from depending on government and looking to the government to solve problems, which then makes it so that you have to go out and protest and write to your congressman and do all this stuff that pretty much feels like banging your head against the wall. And now you actually get to do something that's rewarding and productive. And it's like you kind of have to give the conservatives credit a little bit, because they certainly saw way in advance that the government wasn't the solution. And you can give, I guess, progressives credit then for saying that capitalism is the solution. So if we both listen to each other, I think we can come up with something much better than protesting and turning to the government to help us.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I mean, I guess I would like to try to get people to start thinking about money more as a tool to manage resources, instead of something that is almost like not worshipped, but like we're always on this treadmill basically to satisfy money, satisfy money's demands.
How about this? Use money as a tool in capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
So you use money as a tool in capitalism to be on that capitalism treadmill. But once you start becoming dependent on your community, and yes, you're going to have to work in your community to get the community services, but your work will be more rewarding. It will be what you want to do, and you won't have to be seeking dollars and this capitalist game to get your the security in food and security in news and health and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the big thing, because I was thinking the other day, it's like people calling for single payer, which was me not too long ago, and I'm like, the people you are wanting to write this healthcare bill are the same people that did Obamacare, which worked okay when it started, but was really kind of insurance company giveaway at the end of the day, in which magically Hillary was going to clean up with Hillary Clergy. That didn't seem planned. And these are the same people that have had us to war at 93% of our history. And these are the same people, that's the guy's, what's his nuts? Adam Schiff, where all of a sudden, it's like you can't get a congressman on the phone for 8 minutes, but someone who claimed to be a Russian with naked pictures of Trump got Adam Schiff on the phone for 8 minutes. These are the people that we want designing our healthcare system? Like,
how about medical doctors? Why don't we let medical doctors do it?
You know, it's like these are, you know, it's your buddy Michael Vu. These are the people that support hiring someone who is convicted for voter fraud. Mm-hmm. And we want these people writing our healthcare. And it's like, I don't trust that they can get it done. And I don't even see any people in Congress writing their own bills. It's all done by, basically, it seems like lawyers for the establishment or, you know, whoever's donating to their campaign. Mm-hmm. And I just can't get down with those people solving the healthcare. And even if you got a bunch of good people in office, which is obviously the goal, that would be great. How long is that going to take? And how long is it going to take for us to actually write a healthcare bill? And how long is it going to take for us to implement it? I mean, we're talking 4 years at the minimum. And I just don't think we can wait any longer, not in terms of war, not in terms of poverty. I mean, 4 years we're going to wait and then raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour, and then automation is going to be that much worse. It's like this capitalist plan does not make sense, and it does not. It absolutely does not include the safety and security of anyone's family unless you have the money and resources to do it.
Right. I think honestly, like I mean, and I can just please challenge me if I'm wrong. I'm definitely able to change an opinion, but I think the easiest way to fix healthcare is just to remove health insurance. Doctors know how to do it. There's an international coding set already in place. All they would have to do is just change the mailing address to where they mail their claims to, which would be the United States government.
Just pick up that tab. Mm-hmm. Okay. Other things I thought about in cooperative neighborhoods, it would be so helpful for people to have a easy place to watch kids and babysit. And I would think that would be a service that would be, I don't have kids, I don't have to deal with this problem, but all of my friends do, and that always seems like, oh, I got to go find a sitter. Well, what if you had a neighborhood place where people could cooperate? And I don't know how that would work out, but that would certainly be a nice thing to have.
Well, I know for me, for one, like right now, I'm a mom. I have 2 children, and we have school buses. We don't have school buses in my district. We didn't have school buses when I was a kid either. But so that's really a big burden on parents, because that means that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday you have to pick your kids up at 2:20 in the afternoon. How does that work for a 9 to 5? Oh wait, hold on. Thursday it's 1:25 because that's minimum day. And if you're half an hour late, they call CPS.
Why don't they just do 15 and 30? What's wrong with those?
Because they want to make it complicated. I don't know. I think there's some kind of like a minute amount or hour amount that they have to have kids in school.
Dumb. How about a cooperative neighborhood school system?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. I mean, I would.
That's phase 2. Sorry.
Yeah, that is phase. Yeah. So, but for me, I'm just saying right now, like I have been, just picking them up because I am fortunate enough to be able to stay home and be with my kids. But right now, like my mom had to pick them up today. I have to figure out cooperative, daycare, childcare, like right now. So I know there's a lot of people in much worse shoes than I am too. So I think it's something that maybe we can start thinking about. It's a need that needs to be filled, and I think starting in our neighborhoods is a really good way, a really good place to start.
Yeah, and it's important to know that somewhere in the neighborhood, it can't just be exchange of services, watching kids, exchanging massages. There has to be something produced, and that's one of the important things about food, is because that's something that you can sell. And we don't want to sell news, because news shouldn't be that type of thing that you're selling. So food in the cooperative economy, that's kind of one of the first products that the economy we are suggesting produces. There's other things you could do, of course, in health. There are services that you produce there. But having a product that you can sell is important, and that's one of the reasons why we're suggesting food. Mm-hmm. One of the many.
Yes.
Anything else? That was about 30 minutes. I have to apologize. We changed up some computer something, and the first half of the stream got missed on YouTube. So pretty much most of the news rant stuff was missed off. But
Today?
Yeah, just now. But we did get these stuff
Sorry,
about the
YouTube.
cooperative neighborhoods. So sorry about that. All right. Anything else?
No, I think that's it for now.
All right, if you want to follow us, we are on Twitter, Public Freeman and Birdie's Voice. You can find us on Facebook by searching for our names. Recommend subscribing to our YouTube channel, and hopefully I remember to hit the play button on the YouTube studio so that you will get all those. But that's the best way to find the archive of all these streams and get notified when we go live.
Okay. Oh, and I think my crowd pack might be live either today or tomorrow.
That's
so
right. So you can start donating to her campaign.
I'll try to put a link in the comments.
So things are happening.
Oh, and Justin's coming out. Yay! Justin got cleared to come out today. So
That's her campaign manager.
Yay!
So that will be an interesting story. So instead of doing the interview live, you could do an interview here in the stream.
You could do it here in the studio.
Yeah.
Yay! Awesome.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.